This is the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm your host, Nick Maisie. If you're tired of drifting and you're ready to start living intentionally according to your values, you're in the right place, my friend. We're here to help you lead with excellence at home, at work, and in your community so you can live with significance. Let's bridge the gap between who you are today and who you are called to be. Now is the time for you to claim your day. Hello, my friend, and welcome. Welcome to episode 86 of Claim Your Day podcast. We're in the Beyond Motivation series right now. Today, we're talking about willpower. You know, have you been there? Have you been there where you just told yourself that you just need more willpower? Like you're trying to push through, you're struggling, and you just know you needed to dig deep and find that willpower to stay disciplined, to do the things you need to do, to keep pushing when you're exhausted at the end of the day. You know, have you been there? You know, it's like you feel just drained, like your phone battery that hasn't been charged in 2 days, and you're just getting more and more drained throughout the day. And then by the time you get home, like you're cooked, your decision bucket is empty, you know, and you find out that relying on willpower to stay disciplined and achieve your goals with all the things coming at you, it's strictly a losing game. You can't do it. And that what you got to do, or at least let me put this, are you open to the idea that trying to just be stronger and stronger to push through, that it might not be the best way to go? There might be a different way. There might be a way that instead of just trying to be stronger, you try to get a little smarter. That's what we're going to talk about today. Or you could call it a hack, you could call it a trick, but really it's all about making what you want to do easier. Don't make it harder on yourself. Like, yeah, get stronger, get more disciplined, you know, develop the ability and the identity of being able to overcome the challenges to live the life you want to live 100%. At the same time, what if today we explored some simple things that you can do to make it a whole lot easier? Look, your big goals, your dreams, that vision you have for your life, it's going to be an uphill climb because we talk about that a lot here. You know, everything worthwhile is uphill all the way, just like John Maxwell says. But you know what? There's no sense in making that uphill climb even harder. If you put the right tools in place, you prepare, you get a little bit of planning, you're going to be able to make this thing happen a whole lot easier. So we're going to dive into a simple kind of concept that you can do so that you can make that progress that you want. I'm talking about simplifying it by removing a little bit of the friction. Look, there's still going to be some challenges. Like, I'm not going to paint some sort of rosy picture and blow a bunch of sunshine or anything like that. There's still going to be some challenges, but you know what? We can remove some of the friction so it can help you to stay on mission and on purpose for the life that you want to live and making the most of it. So the first point we have for today, this is just the first one. So we're going to call it friction management. Yeah, let's remove some of that friction. See, us as humans, we love the path of least resistance. We do. Now, the path of least resistance is never going to take you to your goals, but we default to this and this allure, the attraction, and our brains definitely do too. See, our brains are going to try to convince you to conserve energy. So it's going to do whichever one is easier. So let's think about this. If your gym clothes are in the drawer, your shoes aren't even out, and you know you don't have any exercise stuff together, but that remote is sitting right next to you on the couch. Well, which one's easier? Is it easier to reach over and grab that remote, or is it easier to go get all your gym stuff together and then go leave your house, go to the gym? All that stuff is a lot more work. The path of least resistance in this scenario is that remote. The remote wins, and you lose. So, what can you do about this? It's a simple way it's all about removing that friction. Just make it less steps. Reduce the number of steps you need to do when the time comes that you're going to have to decide what you're going to do. Just reduce the number of steps. Look, for me, I keep my gym bag in my truck. You know, a lot of times I'm going to the office, and I'll pop over to the gym on my lunch break. It's not a big deal. You know what? We talk about this in other episodes, and we'll keep talking about it because I can't always go to the gym for like a nice hour-long session, get sweaty, have to shower, and do all that stuff. No, I don't have time for that always. Instead, I've lowered the requirement for me going there, but I've also reduced the steps it's going to take. I know that my gym bag is in my truck, ready to go. That's what it is. So that excuse isn't there. I don't even have to worry about, oh, am I going to bring my clothes today? Nope. I threw it in my truck the night before. It's already there. And you know what? Honestly, it's a double whammy because not only am I removing the steps to have to prepare to go to the gym, but it stares at me. When I'm driving the truck, that gym bag stares at me. And if I start to try not to go that day, it's going to talk junk to me too and help me to stay on track. Look, this is the same thing. It's just like kind of presetting the coffee maker. If you ever do that the night before, all you're doing is you're reducing the steps in the morning. So you just go over and push the button on the coffee maker. What goals can you reduce the steps that you need to do for? Now, the opposite is also true. If you're trying to get rid of a habit, this is phenomenal. Add steps to it. Create the distraction. It's a really simple way to do it. You can either remove steps or add steps. With this, you're just being intentional with how you're designing your environment. You're being intentional with how you're designing your environment. Because your environment's either going to help you to grow in the direction that you want, or it's going to help you to drift in the direction that you don't want. You choose. And you know what? Choosing in the moment is hard, so let's make it easier by designing your environment, removing or adding steps so that when that time comes, boom, it's going to actually help push you to go in the direction that you want. All right, now I went a little long on that first point, so we'll jump right into the second one. And the second one, it's all about, becoming an architect. What's becoming an architect? And with that, you're going to pre-decide how you're going to spend your choices. You're going to pre-decide. See, what happens at the end of the day, we've made all these decisions, and you can actually get that decision fatigue like I mentioned earlier. And the decision fatigue is tough because then you're just cooked, and making that harder choice, it is a whole lot harder. So we're going to save some mental energy by pre-deciding what you're going to do. And we talked about this a good bit in a number of episodes. One of them was episode 80. But also, you can just think about this is going to help you with effective prioritization. So pre-decide what you want to stick to. Pre-decide according to your values, your purpose, and what's most important to you. In order to be able to do that, though, you do have to get really crystal clear on what your values are and what is important to you. And so if you want any help with that, you probably do know what's important to you because you kind of have that off-the-cuff reaction of, oh, yeah, these things are important. But it's helpful to really work through that so you're crystal clear. You can articulate the exact things that are most important to you. So with that, if you want any help with that, you can just go to nickmazy.com/guide. I call it the Intentional Choice Guide. Basically, it's a few different exercises that you can work through from different angles to really determine what is most important to you in your life and just those things that are truly most important to you. Zero in on those values. That way, when you're pre-deciding what you're going to do, so you don't get sucked into the drift, that you can know exactly what they are. Having them written down does help with some of that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it helps a whole lot with willpower. If you're trying to fight through with willpower, when you give the powerful why of your true core values behind those decisions, either pre-deciding or in the moment, when you have those core values, you know them by heart, and they come right off your tongue when you're saying them. When you have that, it makes those decisions so much easier because you know the weight of if you say yes or no to those things. It's making sure your choices are aligned with what's most important to you and really being intentional. So you said you can get that guide at nickmazy.com/guide. But even outside that, make sure that you're deciding how you're going to make those choices before they come up. Makes it a million times easier. Actually, in psychology, a little side note, they teach you a lot about this when you're trying to either give up a habit or make a change. And that if you can decide before it actually comes up, you're so much more likely to make the choice that you, in hindsight, would be glad that you have made. All right, back on track a little bit. Right. The next point I have for you to do is really about just making, we'll call them some focus gates or digital, we can use digital boundaries here. And it's about creating a gate that that makes it so it just gives you a little bit of space, a little bit of margin, so that you can make these choices that you want, so that you can have that willpower, if you will, that discipline to make the good choices and to reduce some of the distractions that are just going to cause you to drift. They really are. And one of the main culprits is your phone. It is your phone 100%. And this phone, see, basically it is just a gateway to other people's priorities. And if you don't set boundaries on that phone, other people's priorities are going to come in. And look, I'm going to go and tell you this. From a psychology perspective, everything on that phone is meant to steal your time, attention, energy, and maybe even worse than that. Think about it. It comes down to the color of those notification little circles or those numbers on those apps. And the way those apps are designed with all the different psychology that they can pour into it to get you locked in, to get your money, to get your attention, to get your eyes, to get your time. That's what it's designed for. It's other people's priorities, just 100%. So what are you going to do about it? Look, there's a few tools that you can use to help set boundaries around this. It might be app limits. It might be using the do not disturb. I use both of those. I love that do not disturb. And what's great is if you have an iPhone, and Android probably has it too. I just had an iPhone now. But if you have it, you can actually set it up so it's do not disturb. But if somebody from your contacts list calls you, it'll go right through. Or if somebody calls you twice in a row, it'll go right through. You have all those settings on there so that you don't have to worry about if it's a real emergency. Or you can even set certain contacts that if they text you, it comes right through, and then other ones not so much. So it's like there's so many options in there that don't be afraid of using it, but it's really being respectful for your time, attention, and energy. It's being respectful of your growth. It's prioritizing you performing at the best that you can be. And if it has anything to do with friends and family, those core people that are really most important in your life, these boundaries you're setting aren't about holding them, pushing them away, and keeping them out. No, it's actually you are preserving your mental space so that you can be better for them too. All right, so we have the app limits, the do not disturb. But here's another little tip or trick for your phone. If your phone is one of the things that's stealing away from your time, attention, and energy, if your phone is one of the things that's stealing away from your ability to stay focused on what's most important, then here's a good one for you. I don't like doing it. It's not fun. It makes it so I don't even want to look at my phone, but it works. Turn your phone to black and white. Like there's a grayscale. If you have an iPhone, it's probably the same in Android too. It's under the settings, under accessibility, and it's where you can change the text and the coloring. You can actually change it to go to grayscale. And then all those little sneaky tricks that app designers do to steal your attention don't work because it's grayscale and you don't even like looking at it. But basically all the information that you would want to do just about is available in grayscale. It's just not as visually attractive. So therefore it doesn't lock me in as much. And the same might be true for you. But either way, set those digital boundaries, because the phone, it'll steal your willpower, because it'll be a distraction and it'll be draining. So make sure you're setting those digital boundaries. Make sure you're deciding in advance where you can decide in advance to honor your values. So if you know something's coming up, or it most likely will, boom, go ahead and decide in advance, because it makes you exponentially more likely to make the choice that you know you want to make for what's most important to your life. And then use friction to your advantage. Either reduce it for the things that you want to do more of, or create more friction, more steps to the things that you want to avoid doing. This is all about being intentional. My friend, you can lead your life with intentionality, but it will be your choice, and you must put in the work to make that choice and to live it out with intention. If you do not, you will drift. It's one or the other. Either you're intentionally guiding your life, you're leading it to go in the direction that you want and to be the person that you want to be. You're either doing that with intention or you're drifting. There's not much in between. Think about that. Your life and the purpose that you're here for and living out your values, it's worth putting in the work. It will be uphill, but it is worth it. And the payoff is real, my friend, for all the effort that you put in. So here's just a final word. Don't fight your environment. Design it. Design your environment. Make the adjustments that you need to make so that it will help you more likely to make the choices that you want to make. Like, nothing's perfect, but if you can adjust your environment just a little bit so that it makes it a little bit easier, and that it's going to help you to succeed in the areas that you want to succeed, to have that impact that you want to have, and to live out your values to a far greater degree. Make sure that you're building the room that you're going to live in. Make sure you're designing that environment in a way that's going to help you to live your life in the way that you were designed to live it. All right? Look, I want you to stop drifting, my friend, and start designing your life. All right? Let's get out there and claim your day. Sound good? Hey, and also always, you can go to nickmazy.com for more resources. And you've heard me mention it before too. I'm going to be putting together a community specifically designed to help those intentional professionals go from drifting to significance. And it's going to be all related, especially what we're talking about today. Material like this is going to be in there. We're going to do a little bit more of a deeper dive and help support and encourage each other to be intentional with our lives so we can truly live out our values and lead our lives well. All right, if you're interested in any more information, you can go to nickmazy.com/drifting. nickmazy.com/drifting. And there, so you can join in a wait list to be one of the founding members. The doors aren't open right now when this episode comes out, but I will be opening them up soon. I got to keep putting some pieces together. So once again, just go to nickmazy.com and you'll find out some more information there. All right. Thanks for listening. Take care. And I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode.